Okay, up until this point, we've went through what is required of the member and what the member has to do in order to put in leave, a premium request, which is comp time earned, and also the regular hours. We're going to take it one step further, and let's talk about the role of the timekeeper. The timekeeper is the person that is kind of like your overseer or your helper. The main purpose of the timekeeper is to help remind folks to turn in their time cards. And we talk about time cards because we're used to those old paper copies. And also, they're there to help the member if for some reason the member is out sick or the member is
deployed or whatever. Yeah, that would be the main thing, to make sure that the employee's time and attendance gets input, because it's not always going to work out perfectly. They're going to be deployed, like we mentioned, and out sick, or having some other technical problem where they're unable to input their own time and attendance. So that's where they'll come into effect.
Okay, and it's really important to remember that your timekeeper is going to be the only one that can adjust your work schedule. So if you need to change your days off, or you need to work different hours, maybe go to 5/8 or something like that, the timekeeper is the only one that's going to be able to actually change that work schedule. So now what I would like to do is go ahead and we're going to have Sergeant Ricker log in, and he is going to actually look at it from the certifier's point of view. When we talk about the certifier is the person that actually okays your time and attendance sheet.
Validates it.
Validates
certifies it. It's like the person in the past who assigned the bottom of the time sheet, technically liable for what that employee has taken.
Now, is that always going to be the person's supervisor?
It's just, well, it could be a person's immediate supervisor, or maybe the next level up. It just depends on section by section, whoever they have set up as a certifier. And within each section on base, we have a lot of certifiers set up, and we're continually adding certifiers as we go. So there should be a lot of flexibility there.
And if you know that maybe your certifier that normally does your timesheet is going to be gone, you probably don't want to pick that person.
Probably choose an alternate. Every section has a primary and at least one alternate, sometimes several alternates. So if the primary is out, for example, choose an alternate. That way they'll be able to certify that employee's time and attendance.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started, and let's take a look at just if Sergeant Ricker wants to go in, and he's going to actually certify and or approve the leave that I put in for the next time period. We'll go ahead and start from the original menu. What I want everyone to remember is Sergeant Ricker has all the privileges for this program. So when we talk about members, we talk about timekeepers, and we talk about certifiers, the items that we see on the main menu for Sergeant Ricker, all of those areas are highlighted or accessible to him simply because he has all of those privileges. If you're just a regular member, you're probably not going to have all these areas accessible to you, correct?
Exactly. To sort of recap, if you're the member, the ones you'll be focused with mostly are labor leave review, leave request, and premium request. There's a couple other ones that are open, but those are the main focal points that you'll be that the employee themselves will actually be focused on.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump on it from the certifier's perspective.
Okay, the certification part is really pretty easy. What I'll do first of all, on leave premium request approval, there's currently you can see there's a 2 right there. Again, this is for the certifier to go in. Let's click on that and see what it shows.
Now that's a notification to let you know that there is leave out there that needs to be certified or approved by you, but you will also get an automated email sent to you.
Yes, you should, as long as the email address in the profile set up and everything, which it should be. That person should get a automated email, whether it be a leave request or a premium request.
All right.
So again, earlier you did a leave request and premium request. Just for example, you did leave annual here, and then on the premium request you did a comp earned. So one thing, the easy way to do it is you can click on these 2.
All right.
And then hit approve if you want. Naturally, you may want to take a look. The certifier wants to go take a look and see what the employee actually did, sort of look at the fine print.
And that is one of the reasons why we probably ask you to go ahead and put something in the remarks section so the certifier
Knows what it's for.
knows what it's for.
Exactly. So let's take a look at, again, I'm right here. I'll click on this link. We'll look at what the leave annual is for. Okay, oftentimes, like we mentioned earlier, there's going to be comments in there, but it turns out it worked without it.
Okay.
So I know the employee really did take leave annual that day, so I'm going to approve. You can also reject or deny the leave also.
What's the difference between reject and deny?
To be honest with you, I haven't quite figured that out yet. I think either way you could reject or deny, and the employee could go back and resubmit if they needed to. Haven't really experienced this in real time yet or anything, so the only thing I'm thinking is maybe reject is you totally reject it, like, you know, the employee can't deny us, maybe they made a mistake and they need to correct it. But again, we haven't actually went through this in real time yet, so just one of those things we're still trying to learn.
Progress.
Yeah, exactly, work in progress.
Will the employee or the member actually get an email notice or anything like that if their request is rejected or denied?
I don't believe that they will. So far, I haven't seen. I've done leave request in the system here, and I haven't seen where an automated email comes back to me or anything. So I think it's just if the employee submits one, the certifier will get a automated email.
Okay.
Again, another one of those things we're still learning, and we'll figure it out as we go.
All right. So this is if you want to approve each one of them individually, but you can actually go in and check the box, and it will approve both the premium request and the leave annual. So you don't have to go to this screen if you don't want to.
Correct. You could just go ahead and check the boxes that we saw on the previous screen. I did almost forget there is comments in here, especially if you rejected or denied. Here you can put the reason that you rejected or denied. This one I'm going to approve. I will say, you know, just whatever you want to put. You know, member did take leave
Do you
on
have to
18.
put anything in that block?
I think it will still go through whether you don't. Maybe if there's something that you have to have reference to, you could put in the comments there, especially if you rejected it, the particular type
So
of
it's
leave.
kind of for the certifier's reference that they might want to put some comments in
Yeah,
there.
especially if they reject it or something like that. Approve, it's a lot of times it's going to be straightforward, you know, that they're just
They
going to
have the
approve it and that's
leave.
it. I'll put something in there just to, for example's sake. Then I'm going to hit submit. Okay. So that one's already gone through.
And
Now
you
that'll
know-
show in the member's history as not only submitted but approved, because that's what I just did.
So you know that it's approved because it's disappeared from there's no longer a line from it. So
Right.
you've done something with it, okay?
Yeah, there's one left in here. There's the premium request for our comp earn that's in here, as you'll see, still in here. I'll take a look at that also. You can also approve, reject, or deny in the system on this. And I'll put a comment, you know, memorandum of what the member actually did.
And those are probably pretty important to put those comments in there, being that it is comp time.
Correct. Member did perform 2 hours of comp earn for UTA prep
All right.
or UCI prep or whatever. Again, just another example.
And that just helps you remember that you did approve that leave, so
Especially a few months down the line or whatever.
that
So
if you were ever to get audited by those finance
exactly,
folks, right?
something you can refer to, definitely. So I will hit submit.
And again,
That
the
takes
line
care of that one.
disappears,
Correct.
so there's nothing left.
No
So
more leave request. We took care of both of those. No leave request, no premium request. We went ahead and took care of that. So I'll go back to the main menu. Now we're going to approve your time and attendance.
So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to show you what the time and attendance sheet looks like when I, as the member, have went in, put in all my regular hours, all of those things, and now Sergeant Ricker is going to go in and he's actually going to certify that I've finished, everything is good to go, and what it looks like from his perspective. What I want you to keep in mind is look at the top the top portion where it says that I have concurred, because that's going to help us remember where our timesheet is in this process. So where do we go from here?
Okay, again, the member won't see this on their menu, so I'm set up as a certifier, so I'm going to go into the certification here, as you'll see. And you can see why I didn't use the current pay period, because I wouldn't have been able to certify. We're sort of in the early part of a pay period. So I'm going to go back and a previous pay period where we did example. It'll also help if you can see how I'm set up as a certifier for all these sections. So I'm going to make sure that I choose the right section, the one that you're a part of. And you can see the other employees haven't put their time and attendance in, but you have. It shows that you concurred.
Is that why it's showing yellow?
Correct. That's just it's just showing that it's retroactive. That's all it is.
So we're doing the
Nothing
past
to be.
time frame.
Yeah, correct. One thing I would need to do is I will, again, this is as a certifier, I'll go in and check this box. It also gives me the option of putting comments, like if you have to, there's something unusual about that pay period or something you want to remember. I'll just
Pre-approved comp time.
Yeah, just anything. That would be a good example. Just to put something in there for example's sake. So what I'll do is I'll go down here in the bottom left-hand corner, hit save. Now, not only did it take, but it also has my digital signature right here.
I see.
So if this was a pay period where I was certifying all your employees within this immediate section, this would show that I still need to approve these folks. Either they haven't put their time and attendance in yet, or I just haven't gotten to the certification part on each of those.
Now, what if you as a certifier in that section where the check marks are, what if you see that there's like is it a green triangle or there's
a red, sort of a red triangle that shows in there if there's some kind of error, like maybe the leave request hasn't been submitted. Perhaps the certifier goes in here and sees that and wants to check out, see what the problem is. Maybe the employee didn't submit a leave request, or maybe even the leave request hasn't been validated by the certifier themselves. Just certain things like that are just things that we'll get used to along the way.
All right, but there are pieces built into the system that's going to let you know that there are things that are going to hang up your time card. So as a certifier, you're going to look for the red check marks to say that everything is okay on that person's time and attendance sheet.
Correct.
All right.
Yep.
So I'm all done. What do I do now?
That's pretty much it as far as the certifier goes. Again, that's just a breakdown of what it looks like afterwards.
So you can go back and double check, and you've concurred.
Yeah.
Everything is good with my time and attendance sheet. So as a certifier, do you have anything left to do?
No, once you've certified that employee, make sure all your employees are certified. That's it.
Okay.
It will take care of the employees done their whatever they need to do. Then the certifier's finished out. The only thing waiting is the end of the pay period for the system to sort of do its thing.
All right, so let's take a minute here and let's think about, are there any particular points that you would like to bring up to folks to remember, or any parts that you think people really need to focus on to make sure that this first live, put everything into the timesheets, the new Ataaps system is going to be successful? Is there any pointers that you can give to folks to say, hey, don't forget to do this?
Just some of the things we've already elaborated on. Obviously, the main thing is make sure the employee has signed in, and the Timekeeper certifier. Make sure everyone involved has signed in. That's the initial thing, especially before the pay period begins. And just make sure that they're cognizant of everything that's the different dates as far as having their time and attendance in by the second Wednesday of the pay period, and that their certifier has finished it off. And if there's any potential problems after that, like still having trouble figuring something out, just that'd be the time to contact us, finance.
So the week of January 11th is the last time that you can actually put in a paper time card. So
Correct.
The old days of this are going to be gone after the 13th of January. The only thing that's going to be accepted is actually going into the computer and putting it in.
Correct. from that point on, no more paper copies.
No more.
It'll be all automated,
All right.
and we'll
Hope for the best.
hope for the best.
All right. What we're going to do is, I think we've pretty much covered everything for our system. And if you have any additional questions, please feel free to call Sergeant Ricker at the number listed on the bottom of your screen. And we hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you, Sergeant Ricker.
No
Appreciate you
problem.
taking the
Thank
time.
you.